10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. What a fight! I think Guerrero won it.
Juan, the Hispanic causing panic, Lascano.
Thanks to those joining me live and those that will be joining me on the archive. So much to talk about, but today, on this Friday morning, we will be talking about just in general the sport of boxing. If you're watching on the archive, by the way, make sure you hit the like button, share, and because that always helps the visibility of the channel. I much appreciate it. And also, share on your social media platform. Let people know you're watching ATP, whether it's on your whatever platform you use, X, Twitter, TikTok, whatever. Say, hey, check out this show. Here's the link. Go check it out. Do your thing. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate it. Do not in any way, shape, or form think. And I've actually had people tell me like, bro, I only have like 18 people like follow me on X. I mean, if I share it, it doesn't really mean anything, right? That's not true. If you share it, I don't care if one person, okay, is following you on Twitter. If that person starts then like he gives the show a look, then you're helping. Like it's just the way it is. If 10 of you only have 18 followers, right? But you all share it, collectively, you can get an additional 6, 7 additional viewers, to the channel, etc. So never sell yourself too short. Everyone collectively helps everybody. I am here to tell everybody why boxing. By the way, shout out to Coach Peace. Shout out to you, brother. Shout out to Bruce Goss, Eric Gomez, Remy, as always. Thank you to Coach and Remy for being members. Okay, it goes a long way. Same with Bruce. Just currently helped the helped with the memberships, helped the not just the memberships, but just in general, like the super chats, the money that the channel revenue that has gotten. We helped an amateur out there in Australia who has dreams to become pro, and we're helping him out. All right, more on that later. But I want to start this. Look at 50 months as a member. Shout out to Bruce. All right. And those watching on X, by the way, you're welcome. And you could always come to the channel, D-Style Boxing. Right? Nobody likes to talk about negative things. People that love something don't like to hear negative things about it, right? People don't like to have that moment of truth. A lot of people like to put their blinders on. A lot of people they're like giraffe, like not giraffes. What's the animal that puts his head in the sand? I had a little bit of I can't for some reason I can't remember the name, but that's how people are going to be about boxing in a couple of years. They're going to be like, well, what's the name of that sport? No, I don't want to be that hyperbolic, but boxing is very similar to the department store, Sears. But these style, what do you mean? Like Sears? What talking about? Like what? I'm not saying they're similar in what they do. Obviously, it's two different things. But its relevancy in America and where it's heading is very similar. The only difference is that Sears has already gone through what I believe is going to happen to boxing unless something changes in the near future. Boxing has to make some very serious changes. And I don't know if it could make those changes. And I'm talking specifically about boxing in America. Just so we're clear. It doesn't mean it doesn't apply everywhere else, but I don't know about everywhere else. If you ever get a chance, just look at one of those videos, a rise and fall of the Sears. They're everywhere on YouTube. Some of them have millions of views, right? And it tells you a story about an entrepreneur that started a catalog and you know what was how innovative they were, you know, first by being able to get cheaper products to people that lived in rural America because they couldn't go to the small, department stores in the big city. Yeah, how about how they started selling watches? How about how they started selling jewelry? And since they had a catalog, they bought everything in mass. They were able to get things to people a lot cheaper than the individually bought things or what it would cost them to actually go to the city themselves, or et cetera, et cetera. Especially in a day where travel costs money because that's one less day working at the farm. That's one less day, working at your job. We need to understand that Sears was innovative. Sears created the big box store that we're all used to today. They created that concept with no windows, just a big box store, the Sears in the front, right? You walk inside because the illumination, there's no sunlight coming from the outside. They foresaw the creation of the highways, and they put their stores strategically in areas where they were going to be basically the center of the metropolis and the center of the city. And Sears became the place where people would go to it was like a Times Square almost. They were innovative. They invented the way, obviously the internet later on changed things, but it was Americana. Sears was the place to go. Sears had some great times. In the 70s, they created the largest skyscraper in the world as their headquarters, called the Sears Tower. It no longer has that name. It started in Chicago. Sears is no longer even in Chicago. I think there's like 3 of them now, right? One of them's in El Paso. I think there's a couple in Florida, and I think California, and maybe New York. I think. I don't even know. They strategically they were just innovative, right? They put things in the malls. They put things like a lot of malls. The center of the mall was Sears, right? And then they went through some tough times. The tough times started when Kmart took over as a top department store, in the United States, and they were no longer number one, but they were still doing all right, right? And then Walmart took the top spot, right? But they were still doing okay. But then things started spiraling out of control. Sears eventually, again, which was the innovator, Sears, known for their catalog in the early days, known for creating the big box store, known for having the foresight and planning ahead and being the innovators and changing the game. And they were the ones putting everybody else out of business. And then now look at where they were. They created the largest tower in the world because there was no building big enough in Chicago to be their headquarters. So they had to create one. Sears was making tens of billions of dollars a year, and then before they knew it, the double digits dropped. The problem started because Sears failed to innovate. Sears failed to change. Sears failed to adapt. Sears failed to know what the customer wanted. Sears thought they had it all figured out. We're number one. We know what we're doing. We've been around for 100 years. They thought Kmart taking the top spot was a temporary thing. Oh, well, look, Kmart is doing their thing right now, but we're going to take the top spot again, right? Oh, Walmart's the top. Yeah, Walton over here and whatever his ideas are, right? Sears stopped adapting. Sears was trying to live off its glory days and its namesake, right? And they have their brands. And we I don't know if anybody knows, like Sears at one point, like they owned Craftsman tools. I think I have them here somewhere. Do I have my tools here? Hold on. I bought this at Sears. I felt so bad. I was at the store. And I'm like, man, I gotta buy some, bro. See, they still had everything. This shit was overpriced too. I looked it up. I could have gotten this a lot cheaper at at uh at Lowe's or something. But so this right here, all right, Craftsman. I love Craftsman. Good quality tools, right? They own Die Hard. They own I don't know. Allstate started as a tire company. They own that, right? They started like the credit card business almost with Discover Card. Like they were the innovators of everything. And now and it was so when Walmart took the top spot, they thought, no, we're not. Look, eventually, like the little low prices bullshit's gonna die out. And little did they know that Sam Walton and them had the shit down to a fucking T. And they found ways to make the products cheaper by the way that they were distributing the products. They didn't understand that. Sears was still working in an old fashioned way, like they failed to innovate, they failed to adapt. They had a fucking catalog that they could use, right, to know what their customers wanted. They wouldn't use it. The Sears catalog is called the Amazon of its day. They could have translated that catalog into an online catalog. They could have been Amazon today. That's the position Sears was in, but Sears didn't have the foresight because they were stuck with their nostalgia. They were stuck with what worked before, and they were stuck with trying to say Sears is not. All you got to do go look up interviews of CEOs at the time, right? Just even the employees at the time to talk about management that were walking around like Sears was still the shit, right? At one point, Sears was the number one employer in America, right? Having a job in Sears, most employees at Sears, I had an aunt that worked at Sears. Okay, I mean, it was really good money for the time, right? Back in the day, somebody could work at a department store like Sears, and it was enough to have a single family home, to have a vehicle. It was enough to buy the groceries. It was a good job. It was not bad. But anyway, Sears eventually fell. People stopped going to Sears, right? Because Sears, they were really good. You see, it was, and you're right, Joe Lopez. I did notice that, there are many chat with this at. But anyway, the issue I have is this. I just go back and look at CEOs and they talk about the business and they understand the business of marketing. People don't understand what they're saying. They did have an attitude like, well, if you don't like it or what, then don't come. That was a very common attitude. And why wouldn't they? They were fucking Sears. All right. Nobody could tell them nothing. And then it went into bankruptcy. But then they got out of bankruptcy. And then they would have a couple of good years because a hedge fund would come in and kind of bail them out, give them billions of dollars so they could restructure And they kept buying out other companies. They wouldn't adapt. They wouldn't update their stores. They wouldn't change their model. And the way we're doing it is the way to do it. Even when year after year passed, and eventually 200 stores were getting closed. Eventually, another 100 stores were getting closed. Another bankruptcy. Get out of bankruptcy. A couple dozen more stores are gone here. A couple more dozen stores are gone there. A couple hundred here. Another 10 there. Oh, another one there. The ones in Chicago are gone. And little by little, they started dwindling until people turned around and they asked, what the fuck happened to Sears? I remember, like, we would go to Sears, right? And I was a little kid and my dad took me. And I was like, Dad, why do we come to Sears? Mijo, venimos a Sears porque Sears es lo chingón. Aquí venden lo chingón, mijo. This is where all the badass shit, this is where they have craftsmen. This is where they have the diehard battery. This is where they have the good quality stuff. That's why we come to Sears. Now, this was the late 80s. All right? Eventually, Sears sold off all the good shit. They sold off Craftsman, which is why Craftsman has gone to shit now, quite frankly, for the most part. I still supported them a little bit. You know what I mean? Why did Sears die? Because people stopped going to Sears. They stopped buying at Sears. The customer no longer resonated with Sears. They just stopped caring. They saw other options and they went that direction. So how is that similar to, what did I do with Bucks? What did I do with Bucks? And Bucks is still around. We had a great 2023. We had a great year. Here's the problem. Here's had years where they did really good too, right? And they would come out, yeah, well, we're bouncing back. We just had a great year. Well, we made so much profit this year. You know what I mean? But a lot of the problems were still there. But they had a great year, so nobody could tell them nothing, right? Never mind that Walmart had a better year. Never mind that. Boxing, just like Sears, right, was like the sport. The heavyweight title of the world was the greatest prize in sports. Now, to us, maybe to us diehard boxing fans, to the hardcore, it still is, right? But I don't mean that in my opinion sense, or like I mean in a consensus sense, right? There will always be opinion, but it was considered like the greatest prize in sports. Just like Sears, you go back and you watch old photos of boxing matches, right? The old black and white photos, you see sea of people at stadiums. You see all these people listening to Joe Louis fight, and Times Square is just packed with people listening to the fight, right? It's just like the opening of Sears, where it was just a sea of people just couldn't wait to get into this big box store, right? The innovation of boxing, creating stadiums to create super fights to get that first $1 million gate. Like the just being the center of everything, dominating television, being the it thing to do on Saturday afternoon, not college football. There was boxing gyms at one point in every corner, in every great city. New York City had hundreds of fucking boxing gyms. Now you can probably count them in one hand. That's the heart. That is the future of the sport. That's where they're molding and creating fighters. Those are the factories where they create fighters. Little by little, it's just been dwindling away, right? Eventually, Sears had to join forces with Kmart. Well, that reminds me of like the boxing gyms that are like boxing / MMA gyms. I see cages in there. I see MMA fighters training in there, and they're training other stuff like kickboxing. It's not just exclusively boxing in a lot of cases. It's dwindling down. Yeah, there was plenty of Sears like 10 years ago too, Nando. Oh, there was plenty of them. There was hundreds. And this is the problem right here. Not to call them out, but not to call them out. Nando is the dude that I told you at the very beginning of the video. The guy that, let's not talk about it that way. Let's think positive, right? Anyone who knows me knows I'm not a cynical person. I'm not cynical about everything. I'm just telling you the truth about boxing. I'm telling you it's not where it was. I haven't told one lie in this entire video. Not one. I have not told one lie in this entire video. Not one. So if telling the truth is being cynical, then I guess I'm cynical. Boxing in America is in the toilet, and somebody wants to tell me it's not in the toilet. Oh, it's not in the toilet. It's come on, D-Style. Don't be so cynical. Look, I'll show you it's not in the toilet, D-Style. Look, D-Style. I'll prove it to you. It's not. It's not in the toilet, D-Style. Look at me. Look at this. I'm holding it up right now. I'm drinking from it. You know what I mean? That's how y'all look right now. You're holding up a toilet and you're drinking and you're telling me I'm cynical because I won't drink from the fucking toilet. That's what's happening right now. Don't exaggerate these style. What are we doing? Why are we pretending that we don't have all these fight cards, bro, and cars in California with half-empty arenas, bro? Why are we pretending that Virgil Ortiz didn't just fight in Vegas and there was empty seats everywhere? Well, why are we pretending that the best boxing could do on a Saturday night is 1 million viewers and we have boxing fans bragging about it on these styles? See? Boxing's not that bad. We just did 1 million viewers on ESPN with Shakur. WWE does more of that every week on Monday, every week. And they're at an all-time low when it comes to the ratings, but they're still kicking boxing's ass week after week. Just a random Monday Night Raw show gets more viewers than the best boxing match with the biggest viewers, I'm talking viewership, of the entire year. We're bragging about doing over 1 million viewers, like that was normal back then. Millions, plural. We're watching boxing at one point. My neighbors were watching boxing at one point. Family members were watching boxing at one point. Friends of mine were watching boxing at one point that are not watching boxing anymore. They're not watching it. So you keep telling me that the water in the toilet's fine. It's not that bad. You boxing fans, all you do is complain. All you do is complain. Look, okay. I'm just saying. Yeah, and on those Sears had days where like during Christmas they would get packed too, right? And people would be like, "Hey man, maybe Sears is coming back. Maybe Sears is making a comeback." People saying Sears is doing bad, but maybe they're not number one no more. But it's Sears. Sears is never going to go anywhere. It's Sears. Come on, Sears. They're in every mall. They're not going to go everywhere. It's Sears, bro. Now, what's Sears now? Where's it at? The cool thing to say, and I've noticed this, is boxing will never go anywhere. Boxing will always be around. They've been saying this about boxing for years. Yeah, it's one thing what they say, and it's another thing what we actually see, right? Boxing in America has never been in a shithole like it is right now. It never has. It just hasn't. It's seen days where it dipped and it could have done better than yes, compared to like the golden ages and stuff. But you go back and you watch the boxing matches on TV around those days, and the arenas were packed with people. Like they didn't brag about that one time an event did good, like it was just like boxing matches doing well like that, where it was just normal. You know what I mean? So we still got dudes drinking out of the toilet, respectfully speaking, and telling me what do you mean? This tastes like the bottled water you buy at Walmart all the time. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know what you're talking about. We have a filtered system. It's filled. It's like dark brown now, the filter, but it's still there. You know what I mean? It's still cleaning some of it. It's not that bad. I mean, there's days where like it tastes, like it did in the good old days. Is what I'm saying. Everybody knows. Everybody watching this knows. I could confidently say this, and you could say what you want, but I'm telling the truth. Everyone knew more people that watch boxing just 20 years ago, 10 years ago than they do now. They watch boxing more on the regular 10, 20 years ago than they do now. They knew more people in their personal lives, okay, that were boxing fans, bigger boxing fans. My brother used to watch boxing. He doesn't watch it anymore. Okay, he watches it once in a while. Okay, I have cousins that follow boxing all the time. They don't watch boxing anymore. I have friends, okay, that'll ask me, hey, what's going on about? They don't watch it anymore, right? If you ask some of them, they probably won't even be able to tell you the time they stopped. They just stopped. Just like people just stopped going to Sears, right? They just started going somewhere else because the somewhere else spoke to them in a different way. And as consumers, it gravitated them over there, right? Boxing fans are dwindling in America. They are. And if something doesn't change soon, it's going to, like right now, I say boxing's about 15, 20 years ago in terms of Sears. So where was Sears like in 2005 or so? That's where boxing in America is right now, right? So Sears in 2005, it was no longer number one. It was no longer the behemoth it was at one point. But during the holidays and stuff like that, when people wanted to get some good Craftsman tools or whatever it is, it was still like a good, or get appliances. It was a good spot to go. At one point, Sears was the spot to go to buy appliances. If you wanted a washer, you go to Sears, right? But then other places like Home Depot started to sell washing machines, and Lowe's started to sell washing machines. And so it's the same with boxing. At one point in America, if you wanted to watch a combat sport, you wanted to watch dudes put the dukes up and fight, you had to watch boxing. Okay, yeah, you had hockey or whatever where they put their knuckles up once in a while, but it's not the same. Like you know what I mean? Like nobody really wins. Like I guess people watching to see who wins, but there's no. It's not like it's not part of the. Like that's not. You don't score points with that or whatever. Like you have to watch boxing. You wanted to watch a combat sport. Now that's no longer the case. Now we have MMA and we have UFC, right? That's just like so when other competitors came around, they started selling appliances. Well, Sears, you're not the only game in town now. And around that time, they started to experience even more problems, right? Boxing, you're not the only combat sport anymore in America. All right. So at this point, go back and think about where Sears was in 2005 or so. And look at the trajectory that we're going. Back then, we had plenty of stores, right? And you go and you go watch old like clips of back then, right? There'll be customers at Sears stores and employees talking about how Sears. People have been talking about the downfall of Sears for years, man. Like they're just like, you know what I mean? Sears has always been around. We have the best products, and we're always going to be around. Big companies will come and go, but Sears will always be part of it. It's part of Americana. I mean, Sears. I mean, was the big department store that broke out big time after World War II, especially. I mean, the idea, right? Like, no. We cannot just assume that it's going to be around. Things have to change. And if you don't change them, you're going to be like the BlackBerry that refused to adapt and change when it saw the iPhone because it was dismissive of it. Oh, the BlackBerry will always have the market share of the business side. You know, people want buttons. They don't want a touch screen. They're too complicated, right? It's too slow, right? Well, when iPhone fixed the slow problem and the people adapted to the touchscreen, BlackBerry went bye-bye. What happened to BlackBerry? Oh, there was plenty of BlackBerry just 2 years before the fall. There was signs that it was falling, but no, there's plenty of BlackBerry. It's not going to go anywhere. We cannot just sit here and assume boxing's always been all right. Boxing will always be okay. We're always going to recover. Okay, it's not in the toilet. I know it's shaped like a toilet. I know it's got I get it. But see, I drink from it. See, it's not that bad. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. Golden Boy ain't doing all that, bro. What are you talking about? They're not doing that good. Is Golden Boy doing as good as it was like in the 2000, like late 2000s, 2010s? I've been covering the sport of boxing year after year. I know it hasn't. I could tell you that right now. I know it hasn't. Golden Boy ain't doing all that right now. I'm just going to put it that way. They're doing all right. I'm just put it out there. So here's my thing. Just like that, like people would say things like, "Oh, then you say that Sears will die next year." Look, they just added a store the other day. You know what I mean? But a hedge fund just got involved. They came in and put in money into Sears. Somebody will always come in and put money into Sears because it's Sears. Well, Sears is in the toilet today, right? If we're not careful, people are going to be talking about boxing the way you used to talk about Sears. And if you think that's what I want, you're crazy. Because I love the sport. I just like to speak the truth about it. I'm not going to sit here and tell everybody everything's fine. Yeah, drink the water from the toilet. It's okay. It's good. Right? Boxing in America has been losing popularity. And I'll tell you, I'll tell you right now, just to kind of end with this. And I appreciate everybody tuning in, even if you don't agree. It's all good. You know that quote, strong men create good times create weak men create tough times create strong men. I guess we're in the tough times, right? No, we're not. We had all these. Like, you guys can say whatever you want. The sport of boxing could do better. Okay, like I'm just telling you. I'm. It's whatever, right? But if you disagree, if you think this is the height of American boxing and the history of the sport, then that's your opinion. Like that, I mean, it's cool. You know what I mean? Um, I think the sport of boxing here in the States is in the middle of tough times, and it will probably take a decade or so to perhaps reset and and maybe move a different way. The one thing boxing has that something like Sears doesn't have is that it's not like a company that acquires debt and stuff like that. Like, you know what I mean? It can lose interest and popularity, but if a couple of fighters gain traction, it can always, gain some popularity again. It's not that, like, so it's different in that aspect, right? Um The one thing I have noticed, though, and I see it in the language that boxing fans use here in the States specifically, and I see in the language that even like journalists and some content creators use. The great American fighters of the past, you know what they did? They left behind an easy pathway for modern American fighters. Unfortunately, these modern fighters are unappreciative and instead call the fighters before them dumb businessmen and brag about how fighters make more money now than they did before. But in reality, they're just spoiled because nostalgia from the previous American greats is making people like promoters like Eddie Hearn, for example, or Turk Al Sheikh, invest in the sport and invest in these fighters and invest into the modern day American fighters, right? With the hopes that they can recreate some of those, uh, recreate some of the success that those fighters in the past had. Well, this is something similar to what Michael Jordan said. While it's basketball, it's relevant still. Okay. Jordan has said this a lot. So in this day, you have to first prove yourself before a company like Nike or Nike invested in you. You have to prove yourself. Now because Jordan's like because of the success of the Jordan brand, many companies they try to invest in a lot of these NBA players, but like as Jordan has said, they invest in them before they have to prove anything. And he believes that has an impact in the game because they don't feel the motivation anymore to try to go for a championship, to try to, they don't have the same drive and competitive spirit that maybe he had in his day. We could agree or disagree with that, but the one thing that is true, there was a time where you had to prove yourself and prove your commodity before they invested in you as a sports athlete. This is what's happening with American boxing. They're trying to manufacture the next Floyd Mayweather. They're trying to manufacture the next Sugar Ray Leonard. You can't manufacture something like that. We got to throw them to the wolves. And if they're the real deal, just like Floyd Mayweather, like Sugar Ray Leonard, and all the greats of the past, they'll come back leading the pack. So that's just the way it is. They don't do that anymore. They try to package it that way to us. They've been trying to tell us for years. Like, let me ask you guys: did they throw Tank out to the wolves and see if he came back as the leader of the pack? No, they didn't. But people act like they did. They act like he's the leader of the pack, but he never had to do anything. They just based on night. Oh, but Tank would have beaten the guy anyway. Like, yeah, you should probably throw him to the wolves. We should, and I'm talking about everyone. Just throw him to the wolves. Everybody should be fighting everybody, and whoever comes out on top, that's the leader of the pack. We're not doing that anymore. We're not. All of them. Throw them to the wolves. And whoever comes back, the leader of the pack, that's that dude. And the people will see that. But they're trying to manufacture that. Adrian Broner was an example of a guy they were trying to manufacture into a Floyd Mayweather. Devin Haney, they were trying to manufacture him as a next Floyd. You can't manufacture that stuff. It doesn't work that way. So we are where we are. And we are where we are. All right. Look, Sears had an over 100-year run. You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. It's all good. I get it. It's always gonna be. Don't worry. Boxing's always gonna like. We can't have that attitude, bro. We got to fix the issues. We need to increase the popularity of the sport. How do we do that? Well, we don't do that by overpaying fighters and you know what I mean, for fights that nobody wants to see. That's good for the fighter and their managers, and that's cool. But that doesn't do anything for the sport. It does nothing. All right. You know, we marinate fights. It's just like Sears has been marinating shit in the shells for decades now, right? Nah, it is what it is. That's my opinion. Dude's over here like with the fucking toilet water. Man, I don't know why these people saying that boxing's in the toilet. Look, I'll prove it to you. See? It tastes that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Oh man. But I never said he's a star, Nando. Nando, you're the one that said I was just at a soccer stadium. Everybody, nobody said anything. Like, you know what I mean? Everything was amazing. Yeah, they were trying to manufacture to us. They were trying to make it seem to us like they have a star. That's why they gave away a lot of the tickets and stuff like that. Like, it is what it is. There was a day in the age of boxing where we're like in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 40s, the 20s, like we're talking the 90s where they didn't have to give tickets away. All right. So it is what it is. But hey, I'm gonna come on here and tell everybody that boxing's doing great. Oh, boxing's amazing. Man, I don't know what y'all talking about, but boxing is doing better than ever in America. Right? It's doing better than ever. This is the heyday of boxing, baby. Let's go. Okay. I mean, this is when we get 1 million viewers and everybody's like, see these stars? Look at the water in the toilet. See? It's not that bad. It's 1 million. Never mind that on premium cable, we used to do over 2 million on the regular. Never mind that. Like, never, like, it's who cares? Right? But it is what it is. There's a time for everything, but sometimes people need to hear the truth, bro. Like, we can't just be in denial. We can't just be like, well, I don't know. They've always said that about boxing. Boxing never goes anywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know if we want to have that attitude. Like maybe it's better Like, even if you don't think it will go anywhere, let's say you think it'll self-correct itself or whatever, like, but isn't it better to do things to fix the problems? Isn't that a better attitude than who cares if there's problems? It'll always be around. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. Like, it is what it is. So in the end, in the end, Nando, I've been to arenas too, brother. Like, I was at the T-Mobile. Like, I was like, I go to the fights here at the El Paso. Like, I don't like. What's your point? You're saying I don't financially support the sport? Because every dollar of this channel goes back to the sport in some capacity. You seen I don't go to events? I went to Phoenix to watch a boxing event just last December. What does that even mean? I went to an event. I'm not in the couch. Like, what do you mean? What does that even mean? Nobody's telling you not to go to these events. Go to the events. When I said don't go, like don't go to these. I never said don't go to these events. When at Chase Center, they get like I spoke positively about that. When they sold out Philadelphia for boots, like, I don't know if it sold out, but it was packed. I believe it sold out. I praised it. I said, yes, this is a good move. So we got to go back to like go to their hometowns, go fight in those areas, and you'll get more interest. You can this isn't. I think you're misunderstanding my point, but I made my point. So it is what it is. Like Nando Contreras, like I get it. Nomás tiene que decir lo contrario. It's all good. Just like Sears used to be able to lo chingón, boxing used to be lo chingón. Without the Mexican American fan base, boxing in America would be dead, bro. I'm just gonna put that way. All right. So yes, that there's lifelines and there's always gonna be like some positivity, which I highlight when it comes, right? But as of right now, this video is about how boxing in America is terribly similar to Sears. That's the title of the video, and that's what I wanted to draw the comparison of. Okay. But anyway, I got some work to do today, and I'll be back. I don't think you guys are gonna see me live for maybe next Wednesday or something. So it just is what it is. And this is D Style Boxing. Keep it boxing, and I am out of here. Peace.